So what is this? Floral diagram. Write a short note on this. Basic of the drawing is the floral diagram. So go to your botany classes. So this floral diagram is actually the transverse section at this level, where all the structures they can be shown. The ovary, the sepals, petals, and the. If you cut the transverse section of the flower at this level, this is it. There is no sepals. Same is the basis of our brainstem sections, keeping in mind what is the basis, that is the floral diagram. Now we will start with the sections of the brainstem. Before going into the sections, we should know how to, as for the floral diagram, you should know how to draw this. The LS or the longitudinal section of the flower. Same is the basis of the, if we want the brainstem section, so first of all, we should know how to draw the brainstem, or how to cut the longitudinal section of the brainstem. Then only we can understand what is the. So you should have got the three-dimensional picture in mind while doing the transverse sections of the brainstem at different levels. For that we want three diagrams. So open your copy and make the transversely three diagrams. As I am making, first we will draw the ventral section or ventral view of the brainstem, then the dorsal view, and third is the lateral view. Out of this, lateral view is the easy to draw. So brainstem consists of three parts: midbrain, pons, and medulla, like your finger and having the lines over it. So how you show the lateral view of the midbrain? Smallest part of the brain, 1 inch long and 1 inch broad. So this is the line diagram, how to draw the lateral view of the brainstem. And where the brain ends? At the upper border of C1, that is the atlas, and from where what start? Spinal cord. So if we see the brainstem from anterior side, so this is the anterior view or the ventral surface of the brainstem. If we are seeing the brainstem from this side, this is the dorsal or the posterior view of the brainstem. So this is the ventral aspect, this is the dorsal. So posteriorly, brainstem shows superior colliculus and inferior colliculus. Anteriorly, the crus cerebri, containing projection fibers of cerebrum. So this is the midbrain, the pons, and this is the medulla oblongata. Posteriorly here lies the cerebellum, superior surface of cerebellum, this is the inferior surface of cerebellum. That is part of the hind brain. So this is the lateral view of the brainstem, or we can see this section also, the sagittal section of the brainstem. How to draw it? Now comes the ventral view of the brainstem. So first is the midbrain, smallest part of the brain. So there are the two optic nerves. The two optic nerves comes medially and they cross, they call the optic chiasma, as we have done in the optic pathways. After crossing, they form the optic tract. So this is the optic tract, this is the optic chiasma, this is the optic nerve, this second cranial. So this is the what we have drawn, the midbrain. 1 inch long and 1 inch broad, the smallest part. And where the midbrain ends, the pons starts. So this is the ventral view of the brainstem in the midbrain part, and this is actually the interpeduncular fossa. The boundaries anteriorly, laterally, and posteriorly, they are the contents. It contains crus, means a bundle of cerebri, projection fibers. Right and left, crus cerebri, this is the medial border, this is the lateral border. And here lies the infundibulum or stalk of pituitary gland. There are two mammillary bodies. This is the posterior perforated substance. On the medial border, there is the emergence of the third nerve. On the lateral border is the fourth nerve, that is how you draw the trochlear nerve, this is the oculomotor nerve. So this is the interpeduncular fossa. So this is the ventral view of the midbrain. If you revert it, what lies on the back side or the dorsal surface of the midbrain? Same, midbrain starts here, midbrain ends here. On the same basis, what lies dorsally? Corpora quadrigemina. Two pairs of superior colliculus and two pairs of inferior colliculus. So they are made up of grey matter. From the grey matter start the white matter comes out as the upper limb comes out from our body or the trunk. So this is called the brachium of the superior colliculus and brachium of inferior colliculus. All four are separated by cruciform sulcus into two pairs. In its upper part, there is a pineal gland, or called the third eye, or what is called the epiphysis cerebri. Three names of third eye. Then below the inferior colliculus, there is the emergence of this fourth nerve, the trochlear. A specialty, three specialty. Number one, it is the thinnest nerve. Number two, it crosses, and it is the only nerve arising from dorsal osseous. Three things you have to remember. Then, below the inferior colliculus, two bundles of the white matter comes out of the midbrain. They run downward and laterally with its medial border and lateral border. These two bundles, they contain afferent and efferent fibers, and from the below the inferior colliculus, this bundle comes from the midbrain and goes into cerebellum. This bundle which connects the midbrain with the cerebellum is called superior cerebellar peduncle. It goes into cerebellum. So this is the midbrain, smallest part of the brain, 1 inch long, 1 inch broad. So how to draw the dorsal and ventral surface. Then next comes the pons. Pons means the bridge. It is a bridge between the cerebrum and cerebellum. And the ventral surface of the pons, how to draw? It looks like the head of the Barbie doll. I have already told you. On the surface, you can see the crossing fibers from right to left. Right to left, crossing fiber. And in the midline, there is a depression that is called basilar sulcus, which contains basilar artery with its branches. So, this is how to draw the ventral aspect of the what is called bones. Now, all its fibers laterally, they all converge to form the ponytail of the barbital that is called middle cerebellar peduncle. Middle cerebellar peduncle, which also goes into what is called cerebellum. Which also goes into cerebellum. Now, from its ventral surface, the thickest cranial nerve with its large sensory and small motor division is seen, like the clips on the head of the barbital. So this is the which nerve? Fifth trigeminal is seen on the ventral aspect of the bones, with large sensory and small motor division. So this is the start of the pons, and here the pons ends. On the same basis, here also. This is the start of the pons, this is the end of the pons, that is on the dorsal aspect. So what is seen on the back side of the pons? Posterior median sulcus and two elevations which is called facial colliculus. And medially there is a medial eminence. Then there is a superior fovea, and later to the superior fovea and facial colliculus there lies the vestibular area. So this is how we draw the dorsal aspect of the bones. In the upper medial part, the medial borders of both the superior cerebellar peduncles, they are joined together by a thin film of the superior medullary velum. This is superior medullary velum, which is related to the roof of fourth ventricle. So this is the dorsal aspect. So how we show the lateral aspect? So whole of the bones, all the fibers, they go into cerebellum. And this bundle which connects the bones with the cerebellum is called middle cerebellar peduncle, as this was superior, connecting midbrain with the cerebellum. Then next start is the medulla oblongata. So where the medulla starts, the bones ends. And what is it seen on the surface of the medulla? On the ventral aspect or the anterior surface is the end of the cervical vertebra, first C1, the start of the spinal medulla or spinal cord. So ventral aspect of the medulla, it shows the anterior median fissure which is continuous in the spinal cord as well. On the ventral surface, either on the midline, there is a pyramidal shape elevation which contains corticospinal fibers coming from crus cerebri, entering into the bones, scattered here, and then again compactly formed here. And in the lower medulla, 80% of them they decussate, they form pyramidal decussation, which is only the tip of the iceberg. Actually, crossing is occurring deep to it. So this is the pyramid made up of white matter. So anything you are drawing, you should know which is the grey matter, which is white matter. Because every part of brain is made up of grey and white matter. Then on either side of the pyramid, there are two olive seed-like elevations because of the presence of the inferior olivary nucleus deep to it. This is called olive. Then later to the olive, the later part of the medulla oblongata is called the inferior cerebellar peduncle. Inferior Cerebellar peduncle, it contains about 1 dozen of afferent and the efferent fibers. Afferent and efferent fibers. So in the exam, it is very important peduncle. Enumerate the 12 pairs of the afferent and efferent fibers. You have to remember. Inferior, out of these 3 peduncles, inferior is very, very important. So whole of the medulla, anteriorly, ventrally, the pyramid, is pyramidal decussation. Lateral view is the olive, and lateral to the olive, the whole of the medulla is called inferior cerebellar peduncle. It also goes into cerebellum. All the 3 peduncles, superior, middle and inferior, they go into the cerebellum. If you cut all these 3 peduncles, if you cut them, cerebellum is not the part of the brain. Only connection of the cerebellum with the rest of the brain is these 3 peduncles. So this is how we draw the lateral view. So this diagram is only possible when we cut these 3 peduncles and throw the cerebellum. Then we see from dorsal side. This is the view. This is also the floor of fourth ventricle. So whenever the one cranial, any cranial nerve comes, write a short note on the cranial nerve. First diagram of the cranial nerve you have to draw is this. Why? Because all 12 cranial nerves, they are arising from here. Above the pyramid, one single line depicts 6th nerve. Above the olive, 2 lines depicts motor and sensory division of 7th nerve. Again 2 lines over the olive depicts vestibulocochlear nerve. Lateral to the olive, 3 lines, 9th, 10th and 11th. So these 3 nerves, they are together, as we have seen in the jugular foramen also. 9th, 10th and 11th, they having very close friendship. And now you are doing the spleen also. Diaphragmatic surface of spleen is related to 3 ribs. Number of ribs? 9, 10 and 11. So that. Then between the pyramid and olive, the last cranial nerves with multiple roots comes. Thickest nerve. After the trigeminal, this is another thickest nerve. This is the hypo, because it had to supply all extrinsic and intrinsic muscles of the tongue except palatobulbar. So while doing the transverse section of the brainstem, you should be having thorough knowledge of the brain as well as the head neck. That's why we are starting now, because you have read both of them. So if you know all the 12 cranial nerves, then you can draw this out. So these 3 diagrams, then what lies on the back side of the dorsal surface of the medulla? Same level. The dorsal surface of the medulla, it shows divided into 2 parts. Closed part and open part. Continue with the spinal cord. And closed part and open part start from the middle of the medulla, is called obex. So above the obex is the open part, below is the closed part. There is also same posterior median sulcus is continuous over the medulla as well as this is continuous with the spinal cord as well. So this is the upper is the open part, below is the closed part. In the closed part is closed lower part, which is continuous with the spinal cord. So it internally also is somewhat resembles with the spinal cord. As in the dorsal aspect of the spinal cord, we have done there are 2 bundles having ascending fibers going upward, fasciculus, gracilis and fasciculus. Medial is gracilis and lateral is cuneatus. Both fasciculus gracilis and the fasciculus cuneatus, they are also seen marching upward on either side of the posterior median sulcus of the closed part of medulla. Now here we can see their termination. Both the fasciculi or the bundles now they terminate into a grey matter, which is called the gracile tubercle and cuneate tubercle. So they are made up of grey matter, while the fasciculi they are made up of white matter. So they are the two tubercles. And in the closed part, there lies the from the obex, this fourth ventricle ends, and from here start the central canal of the spinal cord, as well as the closed part also contains. So this is the starting point of the central canal, which has to traverse the 45 centimeter length of the spinal cord also. In the open part, we see here two triangles. The upper one is called hypoglossal triangle, and lower one is called the vagal triangle, because here lies the dorsal nucleus of vagus. Then it is inferior fovea and lateral. This whole of the lateral part of the floor of fourth ventricle also is called the vestibular nucleus complex. So vestibular area is both present in the dorsal surface of the pons as well as the medulla, and it occupies a very large area. When we do the dissection of this vestibular area, below this we find the four vestibular nuclei: superior, inferior, dorsal and ventral, and lateral and medial. So superior, inferior also called dorsal and ventral, and lateral and medial. So that's why they are four nuclei. So larger is the area of the brain, more is the clinical importance. So this is how we draw these. Two diagrams are the basics. So whenever a question comes, all 8 sections of the transverse section of the brainstem. So with the pencil you can draw these rough diagrams anywhere on your answer sheet. Then you later on rub it. Because only because of this you can make the diagram. Another thing you have to see in the head and neck is the various nuclei. Various nuclei are scattered in the brainstem. Because we know all the cranial nerves except the olfactory, they all arise in the brainstem. Some at the level of the midbrain, some at the pons, some at the medulla. So you have to remember that which cranial nerve arises at which level of the brainstem. Then when we cut the transverse or the longitudinal sections or the sagittal section of the brainstem, then inside the brain, this what we see the ventricular system. Ventricular system of the brainstem, filled with the CSF, continued in the spinal cord as the central canal. The narrowest part is the cerebral aqueduct, the cavity of midbrain. This is the end of the cerebrum end here. Then the tent-shaped fourth ventricle. The fourth ventricle upward is continuous with the cerebral aqueduct, and below continued with the central canal of spinal cord and the closed part of medulla oblong. So this is the sagittal section of the brainstem. When we cut the sagittal section of the brainstem, we see all other nuclei as well. First of all, we see the thickest cranial nerve with a large sensory and small motor division of trigeminal. So it arises from the, it is seen on the ventral aspect of the pons. And trigeminal is called trigeminal because it has got 3 divisions: ophthalmic, maxillary, and mandibular. All these are sensory, except the mandibular, which also has got the motor. So sensory means they start from the as far as skin of the face. So pain, temperature, pressure and touch, general sensations from the skin of the face, they are carried by the ophthalmic, maxillary as well as the mandibular divisions of the trigeminal, and all these 3 divisions they enter into the brain. Which part of the brain? Ventral aspect of the pons. Then inside the brain they are present, they will relay. Where they will relay, that is called the nuclei or grey matter. That is called the sensory nuclei of the trigeminal. As this is the thickest cranial nerve, having thickest axons of the nerve fibers or the bundles of the ophthalmic and maxillomandibular division. So we expect that the nucleus is also very, very big because they have to relay into this. And this is true also. The sensory nucleus of trigeminal nerve is scattered in whole of the brainstem, that is midbrain, pons as well as the medulla. Not so much that this sensory nucleus of trigeminal is also continued into the upper 2 or 3 cervical spinal segment of the spinal cord as well. So when we cut the sagittal section of the brainstem, we see these nuclei. For example, the ophthalmic fibers, they enter into the pons, and where they relay into the mesencephalic nucleus of trigeminal. Because the nucleus is gray matter, is also present in the midbrain. So this is called the mesencephalic nucleus of the trigeminal. Then the maxillary division fibers, sensory fibers, they mainly relay in the principal sensory nucleus situated in the pons. This is principal sensory nucleus. So mainly the maxillary divisions, they terminate here. Ophthalmic divisions, they terminate into the mesencephalic nucleus of the trigeminal. Then the mandibular divisions, they go down into the medullary nucleus of the spinal nucleus, because it is present in the medulla, entire length of medulla, plus it is also continued, this nucleus is trigeminal, is continued in the upper 2-3 segments of spinal cord as well. So how we draw the sensory nucleus of the trigeminal nerve with the mesencephalic, principal sensory nucleus and medullary nucleus, and this is the spinal nucleus of the trigeminal, which is present in the spinal cord. So this is the longitudinal section. How long is the sensory nucleus of the trigeminal? We can show only into the lateral view or the sagittal section. Then another thing you have done with the head and neck is the secretomotor fibers of the 3 salivary glands, the sublingual, submandibular, and so all these glands, they are secretory. They produce the saliva, and production of the saliva is under the control of the brain, or in the other matter, they are under the control of the parasympathetic system. And we have done the submandibular ganglion for sublingual and submandibular salivary gland. We have done the aortic ganglion for the secretomotor of the parotid gland. And we have done the lacrimatory nucleus for the lacrimal gland. Through the which ganglion? Pterygo. So now we will comprise it. Refresh your knowledge of the head and neck. So this superior salivary nucleus is situated in the pons, and this superior salivary nucleus is responsible for controlling saliva of sublingual and submandibular gland. Just below in the lower pons and the upper medulla, in the same line, is situated deep inside the medulla and pons, is the inferior salivary nucleus. And this inferior salivary nucleus is made for which gland? Parotid gland. How it is connected with the lesser petrosal and how we connected with the aortic ganglion, you know all the pathways. So this is we have done. So they are situated in the medulla part. Then we have done the lacrimatory nucleus. It is situated in the upper pons. And this lacrimatory nucleus goes to the lacrimal gland, situated in the upper part of the bony orbit, and it is the tear glands, and it keeps our eye always wet because of the lacrimation. So lacrimatory nucleus is also present, same in line with the salivary nuclei. So we have also drawn this diagram already with your head and neck whenever a question of the lacrimatory apparatus comes. So this is we have done. Then you have also done the most favorite nucleus of your taste, that is called nucleus tractus solitarius. So this nucleus tractus solitarius keeps the bringing the taste sensation from the anterior 2/3, posterior 1/3, and posterior most part of the tongue taste buds, and ultimately these taste sensations they reach the brain and via 3 cranial nerves. Anterior 2/3 by chorda tympani, the facial nerve. Posterior 1/3 by the glossopharyngeal, and posterior most by the vagus nerve. So all these 3 nerves they bringing the taste sensations, which ultimately end into the what is called the NTS, that is nucleus tractus solitarius. That is called NTS, and this NTS is situated in the medulla. NTS, nucleus tractus solitarius, or the TS nucleus. So it is situated here also. So it is also visible when we cut this section. It is present in the upper medulla. Then another nucleus you have already done the last part of the head and neck, that is the larynx and pharynx and palate, soft palate you have done. That is called the nucleus ambiguous. So it is also situated in the medulla, nucleus ambiguous. So whenever a word comes nucleus ambiguous, what is the dictionary meaning of the ambiguous? Anybody know Oxford Dictionary meaning of ambiguous is different from what we are doing in the medical term. Ambiguous means having 2 thoughts at a time. So here the ambiguous nucleus, anybody asks you what is nucleus ambiguous, you should know that this nucleus is a, write down in capital letters or underline it, it is a motor nucleus for laryngeal, pharyngeal and palatal muscles. Nucleus ambiguous situated in the upper medulla, deep inside, near to the nucleus. Other nuclei is made for motor nucleus for the smooth muscles of larynx, pharynx and palate, muscles of the palate. In other words, if this nucleus ambiguous is damaged due to head injury or due to any reason, there is a death. Because the paralysis of laryngeal, pharyngeal and palatal muscles will cause the collapse of the larynx, collapse of the nasopharynx, and that will lead to the stoppage of respiration. No respiration, patient will die. So that is the clinical importance of what the nucleus ambiguous is there. And this nucleus ambiguous is situated deep inside upper medulla, and it is connected to 3 cranial nerves which are related to the olive, 9th, 10th and 11th. Because 9th, 10th, 11th they supply the laryngeal, pharyngeal as well as the palatal muscles you have done. Recurrent laryngeal nerve supplies all muscles of the larynx except, again, recurrent laryngeal nerve is the branch of vagus. So that is the important. So all these nuclei are situated, we know from our knowledge of the study of the head and neck. Now it is very easy to draw the transverse sections of the medulla and other parts. So we will start from below because we have already finished with the spinal cord. So we will go from below upward. First of all, we will do the 4 sections of the medulla, then 2 sections of the bones and 2 sections of the midbrain. How we finish with the 8 transverse sections. So today we will take the first transverse section, that is called the transverse sections at the level of the pyramidal decussation. So if I cut the transverse section at this level, pyramidal decussation, same my knife will go dorsally and my knife will also go to the here up. So when I cut this level at the level of the medulla, this pyramidal decussation, all will be cut at the same level. So if I cut this section, what the transverse section when we see it, how it will look. So in order to draw the line diagram of this transverse section, so what we are doing, number one, today, transverse sections of medulla oblongata at the level of pyramidal decussation. So whenever a question comes, draw a label or write a short note. How to draw this? First you take the floral diagram like two floral axes, 2 points. One is dorsal, other is ventral. This is how to draw the diagram. There are no to ratification of the diagram, you will forget. There is a basis of these diagrams, the outline how to draw them, on the basis of these three diagrams. So first is the ventral aspect. So we have taken the middle of the pyramidal decussation. So this is the ventral point. So how you show here? This is how you show. Crossing fiber from right to left. And we know 80% of the fibers they cross corticospinal situated in the pyramid. We have done the corticospinal fibers with the neuroanatomy already. So now we will do. And before that, we should know what is the spinal cord. We have done with the spinal cord as well. We know this is the gray matter, the white matter outside. The gray matter as shape. The central canal. The posterior column, lateral column, and anterior column we have done. This is ventral and dorsal aspect of the spine. So lower part of the medulla resembles the spinal cord transverse section a little bit, with some modifications because of the invasion of the gray and white matter. But it appears, looks alike. So here we have shown the first part, the pyramidal decussation. But this is only, I have said, this is only the tip of the iceberg. On the surface we see a very few fibers, they are crossing from right to left. But when we take this section deep inside, we see the full view of the 80% fiber. Because ultimately after crossing they will form and they will descend as the lateral corticospinal fibers, where they were situated here in the lateral column of white matter. This is lateral corticospinal. Uncrossed anterior, they are there in the anterior column. They are only 20%. Ipsilateral, they are contralateral, crossing. So here we show this diagram, decussation, then from midpoint up to the lateral part of the medulla, this, from this to this we have to draw. And this is the line, we reach at the middle. So this is how we have drawn the ventral aspect of the medulla. Then take the midpoint of this, the dorsal midpoint, this. Here the two elevations, like in the spinal cord. Two elevations, fasciculus, gracilis, fasciculus. Then lateral to the fasciculus cuneatus, up to this lateral part of the medulla, a straight line. That is the inferior salivary peduncle. So this is here, ventral meet with the dorsal. So this is the inferior salivary peduncle. Is it clear? So this is the how we have to draw the outline of the section at this level. Is it clear to everybody? That how we have taken the 2 points, ventral point, dorsal point, and when we have reached the both together. So this is how to draw. If you know these three diagrams, only then you can draw the transverse section. Now start filling inside. What inside? We know fasciculus, gracilis and cuneatus. They are made up of white matter or grey matter? So they consist of white matters. From the spinal cord knowledge we know they are having the ascending fibers. All the fibers in the fasciculus, gracilis and cuneatus, they are ascending. When we cut the transverse section, how you will show them? By the dots. The dot means they are the ascending fibers of the fasciculus, gracilis. So spinal cord as well as the medulla and brain is bilateral symmetrical. So whenever there is a less time you can only draw half of it. You will get full marks because it is bilateral, symmetrical. Why to waste the time? So you can save your time only by drawing the half of the diagram. So this is the inside story of asparagus, grasses and cumin. Then comes the pyramidal decussation. When we cut this section, what we see inside, that a large number, and then this is the again the central canal. Because this is the what we have cut the section of below the obex, so it is the closed part of the medulla. So like spinal cord is also having the same central canal. Because central canal start from obex downwards. And then same, that is the grey matter like the spinal cord is also present in the lower medulla. But it is modified now. See, the corticospinal fibers, they cross 80%. And where they have to descend? Into the lateral column of the spinal cord. So they are also present in the lateral part of the medulla also. So they cross like this. And they have formed already lateral corticospinal tract. So now because of the invasion of this so much thick bundles of the corticospinal fibers crossing, the ventral horn disappears. It is no longer present because it is occupied by the marching crossing fibers, decussing fiber. So it is, you have not to draw the ventral horn. It disappears. Then inferior cerebellar peduncle. It contains 12 pairs of the afferent and efferent fibers. So which fibers? Which are coming from spinal cord to the cerebellum. They are the anterior and posterior spinocerebellar tracts, which we have made in the lateral column here. This is the posterior spinocerebellar and the periphery. This is the same are present here also. No change. They will be visible. Anterior, the posterior spinocerebellar, this is the anterior spinocerebellar fibers of the trunk. Same. Then just medial to it. In the spinal cord, we have shown the two bundles, lateral and anterior spinothalamic. So these spinothalamic track they upward. When they go upward, now they are called spinal lemniscus, if you remember. Same is seen here. Both together now, but now their name is spinal lemniscus. They are also present. Then in the anterior column, there are present ascending fibers. Spinotector, spino-reticular, then spino-olivary. So they are present anteriorly. All are visible here as well. In the ventral aspect of the medulla, because they are ascending. They are going to the inferior olivary nucleus. They are going into the tectum of the midbrain. They are going into the reticular formation of the brainstem. So they are also crowded here. They are visible. Then in this section, what is cut? Nucleus ambiguous and here they are upward. You are not to draw at this level. Who will draw these nuclei will get 0 marks. So it is very tactful to draw the diagram. You should know all these 3 diagrams, then you can correctly make. What is cutting here only? Trigeminal lemniscus. Draw it. And where it is present? Dorsal. On the dorsal aspect. Here. So there is presence. 2 things. Medially is the trigeminal nucleus and laterally white matter of the trigeminal lemniscus. So this is trigeminal lemniscus. So trigeminal lemniscus is situated at the site of posterior horn. So now posterior horn is also gone. Because it is now occupied by trigeminal lemniscus, which is made up of medially placed medullary nucleus of trigeminal and laterally placed white fibers, which are coming from the mandibular divisions, and they relay in the nucleus. So both the gray and white matter is cut now, and you have shown it. Is it clear? So this is the what is the basis of this diagram. You can fill everything inside if you know the basic diagram. Now what is left of the gray matter is this much. This is the only gray matter which is left around the central canal. It is not S-shaped now, it is interrupted here. Now this is called the central gray matter of medulla. Because it is present around the central canal, so we name it as the central gray matter. Or paracentral gray matter also, parallel to the central canal. It is present around the central canal. So this is the full diagram, complete diagram of what is called the transverse section at the level of the pyramidal decussation. So if the question comes, write a short note. Then you have to draw this diagram. Then how to write down about them? Because every part of the brain is made up of gray matter and white matter. So how to attempt this question of the short note? After drawing this, you make two headings. Gray matter. First attempt the gray matter, then the white matter. First enumerate what is seen as the gray matter, what is seen as the. Then you take the gray matter first, explain every, then white matter, explain every white matter. So if it is the gray matter, what is the gray matter here? Number one, nucleus of the trigeminal. Then central gray matter. It contains reticular formation. It contains sympathetic and parasympathetic nuclei. It contains cardiac center. It contains respiratory center. Reticular formation you have learned in your physiology class. The central control of heart, central control of respiration. During this study, you have studied in the physiology what they have told, that they are situated in the medulla. Only that much they have told. Now we are doing the anatomy. We are doing the each and every part of the brainstem, each and every centimeter or inch of the brainstem. We know what they have said. So they were referring to the central gray matter of the medulla, which contains sympathetic, parasympathetic fibers, respiratory as well as the cardiac center. So that is how. We have done the reticular formation also in the neuroanatomy. We know what is the function. Where these are the three nuclei, magnocellular, intermediate cellular. So we have done everything. So they are all around the gray matter of the central canal. So you can add that also. Or indirectly, reticular formation you can explain in a brief when you are explaining the central gray matter of the medulla oblongata. So this is how to attempt it. Then the white matter. White matter you can fascicular gracilis, cuneatus, trigeminal lemniscus, spinal lemniscus, spinocerebellar fibers. Give them briefly. Write 2, 3, 4 lines about every white matter. Then whole of this increased cerebral peduncle filled with the afferent and efferent fibers. You can write down them. Pyramidal decussation. You can write down a half or 1 page about what is pyramidal decussation. What is 80% crossing fibers? What is 20% uncrossed fibers? So this is how to attempt the question of the transverse section of the brain stem.